Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Pause and Pursuit podcast with your host, Summer Clark. I'm not going to lie, guys, it is 1 p.m. on the Wednesday this comes out, and it just occurred to me about an hour ago that I actually haven't got an episode scheduled for this week, lol. So here I am. It's probably going to be a slightly shorter one today. However, I do think this is a topic a lot of you will be interested in. As some of you may know, I'm planning a puppy this year, definitely nearer or at the end of the year, but still, it's on my mind. Puppies are on my mind, talking to breeders, looking at parents, looking at previous litters of the same parents, thinking about what I want in a puppy, everything like that is on my mind. So I thought, you know what? It's an ideal topic, isn't it? I can pull it out nowhere and I can yap about it quite easily. So today I will be talking about choosing your next agility dog and discussing 10 desirable traits in a puppy. Now, quick disclaimer, these are my kind of 10 desirable traits. Like, I understand that everyone looks for different things in a puppy depending on what they're looking for personally, what will fit into their lifestyle, their personality, what they want to do with the puppy. But considering I think pretty much all of my audience does agility, I'm guessing mine are probably going to be at least slightly similar to yours. So hopefully you guys will be able to relate to this episode. And if you're thinking about getting another puppy, especially for agility, then hopefully this gives you some inspiration, a little bit more confidence going into choosing that puppy, just so when you go to visit them, you have a bit more of an idea in your head what you're looking for, and it won't be such a difficult decision, because it is a difficult decision in a sense. Like, it is a big decision choosing, especially if you've got like first choice, second choice, and there's quite a few in the litter. It is a big decision, and it can be difficult at that young age, but there are things to look out for. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. But as usual, let me give you a quick weekly update. What have I been getting up to with Arrow? So it's been a very busy week, actually, hence not recording an episode till right now. But we had Nottingham Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we had Team GB, the final GB team day on Monday at DSD. So we'll start with Nottingham. So Friday was the IQ. Not the best day on paper for us. Really cool courses, but in the jumping, because again, it sounds bad, I'm not used to doing rear crosses. I usually make the blind, don't I? So I'm not used to doing rear crosses. I had to do a rear cross, and I did walk it like that, but my timing was just off. I did not push Arrow's line enough on a rear cross in the jumping. So he followed my body and took the backside instead of the face. So obviously my shoulders were way too to the right. And I was basically just pulling him too much. And he took that as a throttle wrap cue, because I've always said this, he definitely watches my body language and feeds off of that a lot more than he does verbal cues. So that was entirely my bad. Like, he was trying really hard to respond to my body. Yes, technically he shouldn't have done it because I didn't say his throttle wrap cue, but I don't blame him at all. I definitely did not help him there. So yeah, that was entirely my fault, but the rest of it was really cool, including some really nice independent weaves and some layering as well, which was nice. In the agility, because again, with the IQs, it's purely just training for me. It's EO prep, it's training on the, European style courses, stuff like that. So I was pushing. I pushed a seesaw, wasn't really too stern on it like I would be, say, if it was a really important final or something. I just said target normally, and thought, you know what, we'll test it, we'll see what he does. And he did miss it. It wasn't a fly, but he did miss it. It was an obvious miss, so obviously I redid that. But like I said, I was pushing, I had to run away, I had to peel off, and there was a tunnel next, so obviously he was rushing too. So yeah, it's one of those where it was more likely to happen than not, but I'm happy I got an opportunity to correct it, basically. So I redid it and it was good. So yeah, very, very cool European courses. It was Greg who was judging. So yeah, poor Greg standing out there in the absolute blistering heat all day. And it was, there were big classes, and it did go on till like 7 p.m. or something like that. So yeah, that was the Friday. Caught up with our EOT mates as well, had a little social, ate food, discussed life, shit talk basically. But it was very fun. And that was Friday. Saturday was champ day. So me and Arrow came first in the jumping and second in the agility, even though in the agility I did hold his seesaw for a good second, because obviously Friday happened where he missed it, and I was like, I'm not having that. So I was like, I need to hold this one, because I haven't been doing like normal agility runs in those kind of days at the moment because, you know, I'm keeping to max 3 runs a day, especially when I've got, you know, several days in a row, just because why do extra when we don't need it? You know, I feel like I'm at the point where I don't have to do loads and loads of runs just to train anymore. Like, we've got the skills and we need to make sure that we're not just running courses that aren't actually suitable as far as EO prep go, for no reason. So yeah, I'm only doing kind of the runs that have some significance. So I was like, well, I don't even have a normal agility to like hold the seesaw in or whatever for ages and reinforce it or redo it or whatever. So I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to have to hold it in champ agility. But we still held on to second somehow, so that was cool. Obviously double clear first and second did put us first overall in the combined rankings over the 2 rounds, which was really cool, and we were running last in the final. So that's another champ final made. That is, I think 4 or 5. 4. I think we've done 4 champs this year so far, and we've made the final in all of them. So that is very cool, which is a huge step up from where we were last year. Like, we were struggling to make finals at one point, so very pleased with that. But in the final, he did take a pole, and it was the second pole as well. So that deflated me. It's not a nice feeling. But he did do an amazing 2-on-2 off seesaw. He then took a brick out the wall, literally a couple of obstacles after that. So seeing the pole and the brick after he didn't take a pole or a brick all weekend, I just deflated. Like, I know I shouldn't have, but I shouldn't have let it deflate me, but it did. Like, in the moment, I was like, you are joking. Like, I know I'm not blaming him or whatever, but I'm just also like, why in this one? So yeah, I definitely didn't do the rest of the course justice because it happened right at the start of the course, and, you know, I'd got myself all hyped up for it. It was really hot. I was tired. I was like, right, yeah, hyped up for this final. And then that happens, and in that split second, like, subconsciously, you just know that it's over, don't you? So that was kind of sad. But yeah, it is what it is. It is hard not to be gutted in the moment when you see those things happen, and I am very much still working on that, you know, on my own and with my sports psychologist as well. But yeah, that is definitely a work in progress. But yeah, like I said, the most amazing seesaw in that final, in that environment, so I can't really be upset. Judge was Kevin Bowers, so thanks, Kev, for 3 really cool courses. Really enjoyed the courses that day. So that was Saturday. Then Sunday was actually a chill day for us, as we've already qualified for singles and stakes. Obviously, it was still just 3 runs, so I was like, yeah, we'll do them. I felt like I kind of needed a nice chill day to just enjoy agility without the pressure of results after Saturday night. So I was like, this will be a really nice day to just chill out, enjoy it, you know, just get more acclimatized to me and our running in the heat, because obviously, again, might be that hot or is likely to be quite hot in France at EO as well, so we need more practice doing that. And yeah, it was just the 2 rounds of singles and the stakes. I was also like, cool, I can, you know, reinforce and train seesaws and stuff, so that's good, you know, push my handling a little bit. So yeah, we pushed, trained and practiced running the heat, and we did manage to finish 3rd in singles jumping, actually, which was very nice surprise, because obviously I wasn't chasing results that day. In the in the singles agility, it was a lovely course, but Arrow did stumble up the A-frame, which I didn't realise. Well, in the moment, I was running and I was like, where is he? Like, why is he not over it yet? And then I watched the video back and I was like, oh, he proper stumbled up it. Like, he jumped onto it too low, if that makes sense, and then stumbled up it, bless him. And that caused him to lose the drive and momentum he needed for the following layer, because I had to layer a long jump and then it was the tunnel under the dog walk, so I had to run away. And he had to just carry on forward, but he had no momentum coming off the A-frame, so he just came with me and took the long jump, but the rest of it was perfect. And again, lovely seesaw. And then in the stakes, he did a lovely seesaw, again, 2-on, 2-off like he did in the final, but I didn't say okay, and he self-released it. So I was like, you know what, you're doing that again. So we redid that, but again, rest was really nice, pleased with him. So yeah, that was Sunday, just really nice to have a chill day. Lots of positives to take away from the weekend, and as usual, still plenty to improve on as always. I genuinely think there never won't be with agility, but yeah, cool weekend, and obviously we're just on to the next, which is Hinckley this weekend, so we've got another champ show to do. So yeah, that is Nottingham. Then Monday was the final GB team day, and it was, oh my god, it was 36 degrees, guys. What? I couldn't believe it. It was forecast 32, and I was like, oh, that's going to be quite bad. And it was 36, but you know what? Despite the heat, Arrow was not phased. He did some really cool work and nailed the jumping course first time. And then we also practiced our layering skills and relay timing on some really fun sequences in the indoor bit and the agility ring as well, because obviously the team event or the team final at EO would be a relay, so it was good to practice that with our teammates. And yeah, only 8 weeks to go till EO, which is absolutely wild. Like, I don't know how it's come around that quickly, but it is very exciting. And the heat, I think, is a bit of a controversial topic at the moment, isn't it, in agility? I've seen quite a few comments and posts and stuff on Facebook, on Agility Net about it. But in my opinion, guys, like, it's hot. It's the summer. Yeah, we're going to have... If we never ran in the heat, we'd probably not do a lot in the summer. Let's be honest. That's what it is. But every dog is completely different, and you know how your dog responds to the heat. I know Arrow responds absolutely fine to the heat. And then just be sensible and put measures in place, like give them plenty of water, you know. I was dousing Arrow, rinsing him off with the hose pipe at Dog Sports Derby after every run, only doing like short bursts at a time and stuff like that. So it's manageable. And also, you know your dog. If your dog is fine in the heat like mine is, then why not do agility? Do you know what I mean? And as long as you do everything you can to manage it and help the dog not overheat, then I personally don't see a problem with it. Same with teaching. I'm still running my classes in the heat. I've run in 36 degrees and managed it, and everyone else is, you know, well, the majority of dogs at the GB training day were absolutely fine running in the heat because we were all really sensible about it. So I'm still running my classes in the heat, and it's up to people to choose and know their dog and know how to manage it and, you know, do the right thing for their dog in that circumstance, because everyone is different. Just because it bothers some dogs, it might not bother others, and vice versa. So that is my little 2 cents on that debate that's going on at the moment. I'm going to get loads of people probably coming for me now, but oh well. But anyway, that is quite a long-winded weekly recap. That is the hardest thing to say. That is literally long-winded weekly recap. That is really hard. Day to try it right now, because that's hard. Anyway, let's get on to the topic of today's episode then. So, choosing your next agility dog and my 10 most desirable traits in a puppy. That is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So let's get straight into it then with the 10 traits. So this is, for example, if you're going to see a puppy. See, I'm at Arrow at, I believe, 3 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks, I can't remember now. But I've also met dogs. I met both my terriers when they were 2 weeks. And when they're 2 weeks, you really can't tell a lot. But at 4 weeks, when I'm at Arrow, they have a little personality. So I feel like these are, if you meet the puppy by the time they're, about a month old, that's when you start to see their little personalities come through, and you can kind of see these characteristics, because at 2 weeks, they're just little wiggling beans on the floor, aren't they? So, you know, it does get to a point where you're like, Summer, I literally have no idea. This puppy is a little fetus, like fresh from the womb. But yeah, these are more for when the puppies are up and about, you know, exploring, doing their things. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So number 1 is curiosity about their surroundings and exploring with their senses. Okay. So I'd say the number 1 thing I like to see in a puppy is curiosity, because it shows that they are aware of their environment and they're not afraid of it and they're confident. Okay, so an example of this is being curious about objects. So, for example, Arrow's breeder Sophie, when the puppies were, until they left home for 8 weeks, she had lots of different objects in their playpen, you know, things for them to explore, things for them to walk on, you know, interact with, stuff like that. So curiosity in these objects, you know, if a new object is placed in the pen, do they go up, have a look at it and explore it? That's a good sign for me. Curiosity as well with people. So like when you go to visit the puppies, are they curious? Do they approach you thinking, oh, who are you? You're new. I want to see what's going on, you know, not shying away or anything. Obviously the puppy's mum and siblings as well, you know, interacting with their mum and siblings, you know, nicely. I think you can tell a lot about a puppy's kind of demeanour and character when you watch them interacting with their siblings as well. Obviously, curiosity about noises as well. So if there's any bangs or loud voices or anything like that, not shying away, being more, you know, head up, ears up, maybe cocking the head, or, you know, just being aware of it. And kind of looking at it in a curious way instead of a, oh, that's really scary way. Also textures, again, goes hand in hand a bit with the objects point. If there's new objects, like, again, Sophie put in loads of little, like mats and proprioception kind of surfaces and stuff for them to explore. Are they curious? Do they check it out? Do they give it a go? Smells as well, maybe there's a food smell and they're sort of, you can see them sniffing or whatever. And then tastes, maybe they're trying a new food, or I suppose when you wean a puppy off the mother's milk onto actual food, are they curious? Do they eat it? Do they enjoy it? Whatever little things like that. I think with food as well, it's not ideal if the puppy then won't eat solid food and stuff like that. Like, it's good when the puppy is curious about everything that's new and takes it in its stride and learns to enjoy it, basically. Because that age, everything should be fun and interesting. Everything. You want your puppy to be curious about all these new experiences, because at that age, everything is new. So I feel like that is quite an easy one to kind of notice, if that makes sense. Characteristic number 2 is confidence. This goes without saying. So again, ties in with the curiosity. So confidence with approaching people, so new people, when people visit the puppy. So not only you, but ask the breeder, how are they when other people that are visiting the litter come round? Do you know what I mean? Are they confident with all of these people? Is there any people they're not confident with? Stuff like that. Because obviously there'll be more than just you going to visit them, other potential puppy owners and stuff like that. Are they confident with people? Confidence playing with their siblings, again, engaging with their siblings, play fighting, stuff like that, holding their ground in those kind of interactions. Maybe they're a bit cheeky with their mom or whatever like that. It's that interaction again, just confidence approaching other dogs, people, stuff like that. Like I said, with the curiosity, exploring new things with confidence, not shying away from new things is a huge one. Confidence is massive because obviously it plays such a big role in agility in the future. Point number 3 is intelligence. So the way I think you can tell the intelligence of a puppy is, just watch to see if they kind of sit back and observe what's going on around them and really try and take in their surroundings before then responding to things. Okay, so I think it's quite nice when a puppy kind of doesn't just do something without taking it in first. You can tell, even on adult dogs, like, you can tell when the cogs are turning, can't you? Like, they're observing, they're sitting, they're observing, they're taking everything in, and then they're responding with that confidence and curiosity. So to me, observing is a sign of intelligence, and really taking things in before then responding, because that shows the ability to process information, especially new information, because it's all new at that age, isn't it? So I think that's a pretty good sign of intelligence, which for me is definitely a positive. Point number 4 is interactiveness. Again, engaging with people, mum, siblings, and objects. So again, yes, the intelligence, the observing and taking in stuff is good, but you don't want them to just do that. You do want them to, go ahead and then interact with life, engage with people, not just sit there and watch. Like, you do want them to engage with people and dogs and, everything like that, new objects in the playpen, like I mentioned earlier. So these all tie in. You want that intelligence of observing, but then you want the interactiveness, and you want the interactiveness to be with confidence. You want a confident interaction to follow that observation. Again, interactiveness just shows that curiosity is there. But even if something's not new, you still want that interactiveness, whereas curiosity is more when something's quite new, they want to see what it's about, but that interactiveness is, even if something's not novel anymore, it's lost that kind of novelty factor. The puppy's still interacting with everything, if that makes sense. It's not necessarily just waiting for a new thing to be curious about, but it is, actively interacting with the things in its environment on a daily basis. Point number 5 is respect. Okay, this is a little bit harder to notice, I think, but I'd say a good sign is if a puppy demonstrates social intelligence. So an example of this is reacting appropriately to its mum and siblings' behaviour. So maybe it interacts with the mum in a bit of a, maybe it's a bit naughty, bit cheeky, nips her, whatever, and the mum gives it a bit of a telling off. It then respects that and reacts appropriately, stops the behaviour that it was told off for, diverts to a different behaviour, stuff like that, instead of just going again, doing it again, not responding to these kind of social cues. So I think, just respect for the environment, respect for the mum, the siblings, people that they meet, stuff like that. I think that shows social intelligence, which is a very important thing, I think, for not only an agility dog, because, when they're an agility dog and we're competing and we're training, we're in an environment with lots and lots of people, lots and lots of dogs. We want that social intelligence there. And that, those appropriate reactions to that is ideal, in my opinion. Knowing when to stop a behaviour. So like I said, if they're, the mum example, and also, with the siblings, say they're play fighting with the siblings, same thing, and it gets a bit out of hand, they get a telling off or whatever, they can change course, they can kind of notice and respond to those social cues from their mum and siblings. Really, you're only going to see it with the mum and siblings at that age, because that is, they are the animals that they're interacting with. But I suppose when they're meeting people, they're probably just going to get picked up, and cuddled. So there's not as much to, you can't really see the respect or the social intelligence there, but definitely watch how they interact with their mum and siblings. A lot can be learnt from that. So those are 5 kind of more characteristic, personality traits that I like. Now, the next 5, I'm going to concentrate on kind of physical traits that I enjoy. I was about to say that I like and I look out for in a puppy. Again, can't tell too much with this too soon, because physically all puppies are a little bit wobbly. They're not developed yet, but I think you can tell if you look. So number 6, a sound structure. So a sound, solid physical structure. So again, you can tell if they're well built, if they're sturdy, they're not always falling over everything. Again, I know it depends on the age that you see them, but I think, about 4 weeks, if you'll see them walking about, you'll start to see how they're built as a dog, how sturdy they are and stuff like that. You also want to see a healthy and natural movement. Just watching the puppy walk around. You don't want to see any, you'll see if there's something strange, if, they're maybe taking weight off a leg or anything strange like that may not be hugely apparent, but generally it is noticeable, that they're walking in not a straight line, but, their body's in alignment with itself, if that makes sense. I think it's hard to explain, but I think you know what I mean. Just a nice sound structure, normal movement patterns, just a healthy looking, sturdy, well-built puppy. And obviously there's going to be wobbles and falls because they're still learning to walk. But you can generally tell if there's something a little bit amiss there. So just look out for a nice sound puppy structure. Point number 7 is in proportion. So again, their body structures are even. For example, their head isn't really tiny in comparison to their body, etc., etc. Ideally, we want, a puppy that's nice and in proportion, because generally that means they're going to grow up to be, again, that goes back to the sound structure, a well-built, sturdy dog as an adult. Okay, and again, it's probably not the end of the world if the head's smaller than the rest of the body, but I personally enjoy a nice, well-rounded, in proportion dog, because again, I just think it's probably going to move better, distribute weight better, especially when it comes to agility, and also just in life. This may mean that it has, less problems physically, who knows, but I enjoy seeing an in proportion puppy. Point number 8 is, again, I put this in quotes because there isn't really what is normal, but a quote-unquote normal back length. So the length of the dog's back, kind of the body length, not unnaturally long or short, as this can cause issues in both agility. In agility in the sense of both performance, yes, but also mainly just the physical health of the dog. For example, think of Dachshunds, they're not meant to do, well, I say they're not meant to. I do know a couple of Dachshunds that are amazing at agility, but they're not it can be a problem because of how long their back is. And I know dogs with long backs can, develop issues doing sports and stuff like that, things that are very demanding on the body. I think a long back is known to cause quite a lot of issues in the physical health, and obviously that will then also impact the performance in agility. I don't want to see a really long back, but equally a really short back maybe isn't great either, because that means, maybe again that points to the fact that they're not particularly in proportion. Is a very short back going to affect their striding, make striding harder for them, and reaching the appropriate stride over jumps and down dog walks and stuff like that. So again, it comes back to that in proportion. Okay, a nice normal back length, because you do not want back problems in any dog, never mind an agility dog. And I know, back issues can arise, unfortunately, quite commonly in agility dogs anyway. So I think the back is definitely something to look out for. Point number 9 is early proprioception. So good body awareness and the willingness to explore different surfaces with confidence. So again, ties into my points earlier in a sense. But so proprioception, if anyone doesn't know, is just the dog's awareness of their body in space. Knowing where they're placing their feet and stuff like that, being able to walk over different surfaces, which is nice to see, especially if your breeder, like ours breeder, put different surfaces down for the puppies to explore. That's where you're going to see that early proprioception, and obviously they're not going to be great at it to start with because it's a new skill. But and that's another reason why I like visiting puppies that I get at regular intervals so at least twice or 3 times before I pick them up. Twice I think is good, because I think then, well, to be fair, you could do 2, 4, and 6 and then pick it up at 8. But I think with Arrow I did 4 and 6 and then 8. At least twice before I pick the puppy up I like to visit, because that's when you see them develop. If you just see them once, you kind of don't see their progress, and you can't judge their progress or anything like that. So watching them get better at body awareness, proprioception, stuff like that, the confidence to explore different surfaces and, get better and improve that body awareness over them over time. And this is why I like, visiting the puppies regularly before I pick them up, because that's when you're going to notice these things. I think if you only go once and then pick them up, you haven't seen enough of them, if that makes sense. So I personally like to do that, and I know most people that I speak to about it are the same. I think, to be fair, at this point, that is probably the norm, visiting the puppy a few times before picking it up. So I definitely recommend that. And finally, last point, 10, is quick recovery. So the ability to recover from things like stumbles or in play fights with their siblings, etc. So if they get knocked down, do they bounce back up and carry on? That's a really good sign for me. Do they explore a new surface and fall over? Can they get up and try again and succeed? So quick recovery, that's, again, a physical thing. It's physically good because it means that they've got the strength to do that. And it's also mentally good because it means that they have that willingness, kind of that resilience in them, which is really nice to see. So a quick recovery is also a really nice thing to see as well. And that, guys, is my 10 points. I hope you enjoyed today's very last minute episode. I imagine if I'd forgotten, I don't think I've missed a Wednesday episode when I meant to do one I don't think I ever have done. I mean, I've had intentional breaks, but that would have been really, I would have woke up in the morning thinking, oh, bollocks, I haven't got an episode out, but we've done it. What's coming up for me then, you ask? Hinckley over the weekend. So I'm at Hinckley Champ Show Saturday and Sunday, 30th and 31st. So I will see you guys there. I'm sure a lot of you will be there. It's pretty much go with champ shows at the minute, innit? It's a bit crazy. That's what we've got coming up. Apart from that, business as usual. Next Tuesday we have another training evening with our medium GB team at Dog Sports Derby. So again, it'll be nice to get together with them again. I just find the team dynamic on the GB team this year is better than it's ever been. That's my personal opinion, and I'm really enjoying it. So we've got 3 fun days of agility coming up over the next week. So I'll see you guys at Hinckley if you're there, but if not, obviously just next week on the podcast. I do have more guest episodes in the pipelines. Just bear with me because I did loads and loads, and now I'm kind of like, right, need to regroup, get some more together, because I bulk recorded a load, but they're all out now. So I've got some more planned, just got to get them recorded and out to you guys. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, without further ado, what do I say at the end of every episode? If you enjoyed today's episode, please do leave the podcast a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would mean the world to me. Also, please do follow the podcast on whatever platform you use to stream your podcast. That way you don't miss any future episodes, including all the nice, exciting guest episodes I've got for you guys. Also, please do keep sending me your podcast requests, so what you would like me to speak about in future episodes, solo episodes, what you would like me to talk about by myself like today, and then also guest episode ideas, so what guests you would like me to interview and what topics you would like me to speak about with those guests. If you give me a request or a recommendation for an episode, it will pretty much 100% be guaranteed to be turned into an episode, because I'm just that good to you guys. You guys have some great suggestions, so please do keep sending them in. Also, if you would like to up your agility game this summer and would like some training aids, please do head over to my Safe Stride Solutions link, which is in the description of this podcast episode. You can buy yourself some stride regulators, some weave guides, some tight turn guides, anything like that. Honestly, I've sworn by these for quite a while now, both with my training with Arrow and also my students. Obviously, I am an agility instructor as well, and I've seen these training aids bring my students on in leaps and bounds. So treat yourself to some agility shopping. Now the weather's nice, you can get out there and do some regular training, and these training aids will absolutely help you, I can almost guarantee. And yeah, speaking of teaching, I offer in-person agility lessons in Lincoln. So I offer one-to-one lessons and also group classes. So if you're interested in training with me, please do send me a DM on social media. Also follow me on social media. That's at Pause in Pursuit on pretty much every platform, or Summer Clark, depending on the platform. But yeah, I'm sure most of you guys already follow me over there, but you can keep up with me over there as well, what shows I'm doing. That is where I advertise podcast episodes as well, and then ask questions when I have a new guest coming on, so you guys can ask them questions. So yeah, make sure you follow me on all of the social media platforms. But yeah, just send me a message there if you wanna come to Lincoln and have a lesson, even if it's just a one-off. We can discuss. I'm pretty flexible with timing, so let me know your availability and we can get something scheduled. Or as well, I can send you what group classes I currently have space in and see if those work for you. I'm actually hoping to get some more group classes up and running soon, so keep an eye out on social media for that. That is where I advertise those. But without further ado, I'll let you guys get on with the rest of your Wednesday. Hopefully see some of you at Hinckley, but if not, I will speak to you all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. as usual. Bye guys.